and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America. We do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally. And we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about in language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow, send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Hello, hello. How are you? Welcome.
Doing okay. Very good, Lloyd.
All righty. You look like you're leaning back there a little bit, and I'm leaning forward. All righty. So good to have you here. So we're going to kick this thing off, and got some should have some cyber people in the audience asking you some questions and stuff. But we're glad to have you here, Josiah. Why don't you go ahead and do a quick introduction and why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
So thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity provided. As you can tell, I'm very all smiley, cheesy from ear to ear because of what I've seen in the videos, and I really do appreciate you. My name is Josiah Umezurike. I am the Chief Technical Officer and the founder for Each One Teach One Tech. Each One Teach One Tech is a nonprofit and registered apprenticeship program in the state of South Carolina. We provide the tools and resources needed by the underserved communities to remain gainfully employed in STEM, especially cybersecurity. What we do is we eliminate debt for our learners through the approach that we use to train them. We use the on-the-job approach, wherein they're already working in an environment. Our Security Operations Center is one of the first that's been built and being used in our communities here in the United States. And what we do provides them a better life outcome, and they can achieve their dream and they have a smooth path in cybersecurity. Thank you.
Fantastic. We'll dive a little deeper into that, and so you also have a couple other companies as well, and we'll dive into those as well. Let me pull my sponsor thing up here so we can kind of give a quick shout out to them. We're definitely excited to be here every Thursday night to support founders and helping them learn the best practices for building a startup. And so as you know, as a founder, there's a lot of stuff you run into and challenges you run into. So it's kind of good to learn the best practice, but we couldn't actually present the information without our sponsors. And so one of our sponsors, our partners, is Blacks in Technology, and I'm actually going to find a link to those of you that are not a member of Blacks in Technology. I'm going to put the link for the Pensacola chapter in there, but you can go to the website if you're in a different location to get access to that. But there's also a link for the newsletter in this, what I just posted there. And so let me see if I can post it in the right place here. But I'm really excited to be a part of the Blacks in Technology. It's a worldwide organization with over 30,000 members, and it's a really good opportunity to connect with other Black folks in technology. And they offer a lot of neat things for people wanting to get into technology. And that might be a good partnership for you, Josiah, to kind of come up with a program to partner with Blacks in Technology to get your program to the members. So, and there's definitely
absolutely.
great.
There's a great opportunity there from what I'm seeing, but we are structured to serve those kind of membership and organizations. Like, as we go on, I will explain to you how that works.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, and so when we started, we just had our best practices, and so we had a playbook for startup best practices, and so, but we got lucky a couple of years in. We one of our sponsors supported us to purchase the Lean Stack platform. That was Florida Power and Light, and last year they even came up a little higher and sponsored us to do some cohorts in the Lean Stack program. So we're excited to have them, and they already say they're going to be with us again this year. So give a big shout out to Florida Power and Light. Another one of our sponsors is Innisfree Hotel. We're kind of like forever indebted to them too, because they sponsored our first I think it was 5 or 6 pitch competitions. So we're excited to have partners like that. So putting money in founders' hand. And so, as you can see, there are a lot of other folks on there. But this week, Pitch Bob, we partnered with them last month, and they launched on Product Hunt this week, and they became one of the #1 products that on the day they launched. So we are leveraging that too to help founders out as well. And shout out to all the other banks and our local chapter as well. All righty. And so you already gave a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about Cyberlockx and LokDon real quick, so we can kind of get a feel for what that's all about, Josiah. Can you tell us a little bit about
So I didn't quite hear what you said. If you could go back to it again, like, you went in and out for a bit.
Okay. So
yeah, you went in and out for a bit.
Okay, let me make sure I'll stay close to the mic here. So the Cyberlockx, tell us a little bit about Cyberlockx, and also tell us a little bit about LokDon.
But I didn't get the question because you went in and out.
Okay, so let me
switch. Thank you so much again. LokDon is my first stint in the industry. LokDon is a tech company, and
So, or is Josiah having some? Is my staying low, or is Josiah staying low? Let's see here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you went out there for a second. So you may want to shut down any other browser things you got open. For some reason, you're coming in kind of slow. Can you close some of your windows there?
How is it now? I kind of shut down.
Keep talking. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, good.
Closing them up. Everything is closed up, and I also connected it to the wire. I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm not using Wi-Fi.
Fantastic. So you're coming in good.
Okay, very good. So LokDon is my first company. It's a deep tech company. It took me over 20 years to get it where it is today. It started when nobody was thinking about doing a keyless encryption. I was the first guy that actually implemented quantum resistance cryptography. So that's what I did with LokDon. And today, LokDon has the on-demand keyless end-to-end encryption for timeless security. You can find our bundle in the cloud. When you go to AWS or Docker, you can find it there on Rapid API. This is a solution that you can use if you're a person that's troubled by seed phrases, private keys laying around all over the place, Web3 space, blockchain space, and currently AI. You can use a solution to encrypt all of that, because you don't have to worry about reusing keys, storing keys, moving keys, and managing keys. That's an added advantage in the age that we are in right now.
Fantastic. Okay, what about Cyberlock?
So Cyberlockx is, you know how when the Ford builds the engine, then let's say Chevy takes the engine and build a version of a Chevy car or a model of a Chevy car. That's the same idea. LokDon builds the bundles, the packages, the SDKs, and all of that. We package them anyhow we want. We can package them as a Docker, container WASM files, and etc. Now, Cyberlockx is going to take those things and build a web browser. So what Cyberlockx does is basically is building a secure AI powered feature array browser. All the things we're doing today, we can do in the browser. But the difference is when we do it in that browser, we are not going to be faced by a lot of attacks that we have today. We cut down those attacks by 90% because the problem is in the browser. If you look at the cyber kill chain, it tells you the traces in the phases of the cyber kill chain. It starts with reconnaissance. So I asked the question, you don't want to be attacked. Why are you giving your information? So if you have a browser where you're not giving your information any longer, not only does it promote responsible use of AI, responsible use of all the information without hacking people's thoughts and without doing all this social engineering, you will have online privacy as well as data security. And in turn, the individuals that have or own those data, the originators of those data could be incentivized, which promotes a new way of making money, residual income, or anything like that. It also prompts individuals to use their data to get other services they might not be able to get under normal circumstances. So it is important to recognize that the problems we have in the cybersecurity is because of how we implemented these things and also the algorithms behind what we use. For example, in cryptography, you have encryption, which is the mechanism of cryptography. So if we don't have the right one that's progressive, forward-looking, and we're still relying on something that's 30 years or 20 years old, we see how our computers are moving really fast, but security is way behind, and we're still using those things now. So Cyberlockx decided to build this new thing. Cyberlockx is a new organization. We need important people to be a part of it, to plug into it, because it's going to sit at the center of everything. If we can pull off Cyberlockx, that's a new Google for the future, period. It's not going to compete with Google, but it's going to be an alternative for people that are conscious of their information, because data is the new code. And I mean, a lot of people say data is the new gold, but I say data is the code, and that code is going to make you money. It's going to be the new code, the new gold.
Gotcha. That sounds great. So Don, he's a cyber kind of guy, and of course he's got the first question. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see the question. So does it work? Yes, it does work. We are working with Wix. They make they are pretty much a website development company at large scale. That's the biggest website development company that we have in the world. It's called Wix. Everybody knows it. So we're working with them to get it in their environment as an extension to help them with their CVE issues that they have. They racked up a lot of CVEs last year. We also have written a plugin, vis-a-vis extension for WordPress. So we're going through the process for them to accept it in there. These are one of the useful ways that we're doing it. However, we can implement this on anyone's website as we speak. It will be a custom fit. We will do it using WASM files. And also we can show you how you can use AI to profile people that come to your website and know who they are, what they're trying to do, and shut them off if they're nefarious. You can shut them off permanently. So we have something called Data Shield AI. What Data Shield AI does is it will follow the policies of your organizations as it translates into the website and the services that you use. It will do encryptions according to the policies. As the information are coming in, is doing it. If there's anybody trying to get information out of that in your environment, it will clamp down on it, apply the policy on it, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is going to be very advantageous when it comes to malware. So if you give it the right policy, and if you engineer it in a way in your network environment, it can hunt down the file, the URI for that particular malware that comes into that environment, because it doesn't look like every other uh, uh, if, every other input that's coming in. If you have everything encrypted, so when you see something that looks different, you can always tell. It will hunt it down, encrypt it, stop it, immobilize it from calling home. So we're in the business of data security. So everything that had to do with data, that's what we do. So because we've seen that earlier on is the biggest issue. The reason why people are hacking us is because they have information about us. If they don't have that information, the cyber kill chain goes down. It will not be pervasive. It will not continue to the action on objectives.
Okay, great. That's great. That's a great answer there. I we're going to, this event is about best practices for founders, and so we want to dig into, after I'm going to show a couple of slides here, but we want to dig into your background, your story, and how you got to where you are now. And so, but first, I want to cover a few things about the founder's journey, and I think you will identify with some of the stuff that I'm getting ready to talk about. So, so with this best practice thing, we, after working with a bunch of founders and interviewing a bunch of founders, we're learning a lot of things. And so, so this year we're going to stand up a community of for our founders, and so they can even network more 24/7. And then this Black Founders Innovation Summit. See, it sounds like you've been doing some innovating, inventing, and then creating some value. So we want to help people understand that. So we're going to do our inaugural Black Founders Innovation Summit here in Pensacola on the 19th and 20th. And then we branded our Startup on the Block's name, and since we were able to partner with some folks that were interested in supporting Black founders, we just decided we'll just call it our Black Founder Program, since that's what the sponsors wanted to support. So we're going to continue that this year, and we're going to expand from Florida to go kind of worldwide with that. And so one of the approaches is we're going to help jumpstart the founders. We're going to have some boot camps where we're going to be going through the pitch bob thing, and also the business idea evaluation and generating some marketing reports. So, and that's just to get the founder with the words they need to how to communicate their idea in a business and professional way. And so that's the main thing there. So we talked a little bit about this summit coming up, and so you can get to the registration form at innovation.kakuainstitute.org. I'll put that in the chat a little later. Just remember the word innovation and kakuainstitute.org. So, and we got some good speakers lined up for you all for that. Now, this is where I want to talk about the mindset thing, and so at the summit we're going to. The first workshop is going to be about the innovation mindset. Since you've been doing all this inventing and stuff, kind of how do you feel about the innovation?
I think innovation is very interesting. To innovate, I feel great about innovation in general. To innovate, you have to be non-conventional. You have to be non-traditional. You have to be research intensive. You have
Okay.
everything you do had to be. You have to be able to find out why does this work? Why is it different from this? How is this going to improve people's life? That's first thing. You have
Mhm.
to think of it. How is it going to improve my life, my family life, people that are around me? How is it going to do that? How about poor people? People that don't have a lot of money like other people. Always think about those group first because there's many of them than the people that have the money. Just think about what I'm saying. And that
Okay.
gives you a much better opportunity to solve a wide variety of problems. And when you're innovating, always think of, okay, this might not be a new thing, but I'm gonna use it in a new way.
Fantastic.
So this is not a new thing. I'm not taking all the credit, but guess what? I'm gonna use it in a new way. So what I did, the way I started innovating and start understanding what innovation is all about in a practical sense, is by knowing what exists.
Okay.
I have to know what exists first. I have to know it so well that I don't have to think about its flaws and its benefits. In other
Okay.
words, I master it. I master what exists. So I mastered the cryptographic system that exists today. That was
Okay.
23 years ago. I mastered it. But now I'm looking for ways to expand on it. Because
Okay.
when I talk to people, when I ask them, professors and all of that, so can someone build a new system? They usually say no. You can't build a new system. You just gotta relax and do nothing. Let someone else build it for you. I don't agree with that. So I went ahead and I built a new system which works. It has stand the test of time for over years. So the first thing I built was the endpoint to endpoint cryptographic system for cloud, mobile, and IoT devices. That was years back. I
Uh-huh.
built that. I tested it for over 10, 15 years. I patented it. You can find it on Google. That's my first one.
Okay.
The second one is industrial internet encryption system that is targeting 4.0, cyber physicals, nowadays metaverse and all of that. That's what it's targeting: industrial internet, robotics, with AI infusing them. So what I was doing with the IIES is to show that in a world where everything can interact with you, and you have humanoids, you have your microwave can interact with you, your refrigerator can interact with you. It's important that we find a way to make sure that they know who they're talking to, meaning we have to have a much better authentication and authorization for all these processes. So I built that system, IIES, which is progressive. It uses the environmental information to identify and expands the advanced authentication factors to over 5 and 6 and included like your location where you are, other things that you have in your environment, biometrics, what you have and what you know, and extended password and all that kind of stuff. Extensive password system, which doesn't require you to write any password. So I came up with all this new way of doing things and I patented them. So when you come up with a new way of doing something, don't just relax and say, I came up with this new way. Try as much as you can to distinguish yourself from other people by going through the legal process to get a patent. Because you never know what could happen later on down the line. The patent that you came up with could end up doing a whole lot more where it gives other people opportunity and yourself opportunity as well. So the third one that I came up with was what we call distributed ledger system for each transaction. It's basically a blockchain, a new blockchain technology with a new protocol that came out, and I try to promote it. They shut it down because because it's very it's very economical in the sense of it reflects the time and allows the market forces to act on it as opposed to making money from the thin air. So that's how that one went. But it's still there. But now I'm realizing that they are moving towards that direction. It's non-mineable, meaning it doesn't require a lot of electricity to crunch on big numbers to get the chance in the block and to get the chance in the block. I mean, to get the blocks in the chain, but rather is using a quantum resistance cryptography to do the same thing to confirm transaction rather faster than the other ones, and it's not impacting the climate changes. It's not impacted. It doesn't have a lot of carbon
That's great.
footprints. So it's within the UN SDGs. So now they're leaning towards that direction. And hopefully in the future, when the browser comes out, we're going to have most of this stuff. Like I said, it's going to be AI powered feature array browser. So you can have whatever you have currently today in this space, you can have it in that browser and it will be secure and safe. So my path to innovation is quite unique. I remove myself from certain knowledge. I
Okay.
study those knowledge, but I look for weaknesses in them. In other words,
Okay.
I'm looking for similarities instead of differences.
Gotcha. The
I'm
patterns.
looking for I'm looking for a pattern. I'm looking for this is similar to this. Okay. How similar is it to this? I'm not looking to condemn what somebody before me built. I'm trying to see, okay, how similar are these two things to themselves? So this is a cylinder, this is a hollow. Okay, cylinder hollow. You see how I'm coming from? So now,
Mhm.
with that being said, I can see why there's a problem on one. And then I'll try to mitigate the problem simplistically. I will think in my mind, not in a complex sense. I will study the complex mathematics. If it's physics or anything, I will study those because those are the language of the universe. That's how we understand complexity. However, it would not make any sense to my grandma or my mother if they don't understand the complexity. So I have to break it down to where people can understand it. I'll give you an example. When I was studying AES, I found out that AES has something called S box. It's a lookup table, which means everything there is constant. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Another
Look.
guy, another guy discovered the same thing. His name is Bruce Shania. He said the same thing I said. And I said, if this is the constant that's holding it together, it simply means if I take the simplest version of AES, which is AES 128, I believe, it has AES 128, 192, and 256, which is the highest on the planet. As
Mhm.
far as symmetric key cryptography is concerned, this is not asymmetrical. This is just a secret key system. It's different from the paired system, public-private key. That's a paired system. So once I saw that it has a weakness, I knew right there this is vulnerable. It's only a matter of when the right computer will show up. When the supercomputer came up, people actually did something with AES 128, which is about 4 by 4 matrix. A word is about 8 bits, like AI. These are words. This is about 8 bits in the space. So when you create the matrix that carries the dimension of the AES and put words in it, you have the hexadecimal notation, which is 2 characters. That's about 1 to 8, 16 bits, right? So when you look at it, all those words, if you put it as small as they are in character wise, it means that you can iterate each of the elements in the matrix formation 4 by 4 with what's in the lookup table. At least one will match. And if you know the language that is used for that encryption, of course, you can find the language using other tools that are out there. There are many tools that will lead you to know the language the encryption is using, and the length of those encryption are revealing a lot of stuff. There's something there's something known as frequency attacks, known password. Known ciphertext attacks and frequency attacks. So you can use that to know put those ciphertexts in a tool that tells you the language. And when you're looking for stuff, you can find the vowels for those language. That would give you an idea of where things are. If you iterate that over the lookup table about 8,690 or so, you will run into a word that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was actually done 4 or 5 years ago. 8 years ago, and someone did that and it worked. So with that being said, when you look at the key technology and they say this is good, it works, you should ask the question nobody else would ask. Don't be afraid to ask these courageous questions. Okay, if this works, why are we getting hacked every day? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. You said it works, but why is it a big business, cybersecurity?
Gotcha. Yeah, so people want to make money, but like we're talking about this mindset. So we talk about the startup ecosystem quite a bit, and so this little bullseye thing I got here has got the ecosystem, but there's also a innovation ecosystem, and the startup ecosystem is a part of that ecosystem. But the bottom line of them, both of them require this mindset, and then in the middle there, I mean that second ring, um, it it's got skills and best practices. So so in your case, you just described the practice that you use to innovate, and so in the startup world, there is um, you know some skills you have to learn and some practices you have to learn. And so one of the best practices is being able to communicate your business model clearly and concisely. But but you have to, you're part of that mindset too, you're trying to figure out how to take advantage of the ecosystem or leverage the ecosystem to help you move from point A to point B. And so, and that's what I like about this chart is it's telling you or me as an individual is that no matter what you're doing, you have to get the right mindset for it. And then you have to know what the skills and best practices you need to learn to tap into the resources in that ecosystem out there. And so so you and I were talking yesterday, and so one of the best practices is leveraging the in-kind services or the freebies that you get from these big tech companies, like free cloud services and free software that you get to kind of help you move forward. So, and it's just a matter of just learning what resources that are out there, and then learning what it takes to get them. And so because you definitely can use them, right?
Of course. So in line with the best practices, the mindset is the key, the cornerstone in the approach. If you feel like you know everything, you're gonna have serious problems. Like
Yes.
you can never feel like you know everything. You feel like a brand new baby. You sponge off everything, have a keen eyes,
Hmm.
notice every change around you. Be out
Gotcha.
there, open up to people. Don't be closed in. I understand a lot of founders, like loners, they like to stay by themselves because it allows them to think clearly. However, to get people to know your product, to know who you are, you got to be out there. You got to have
Gotcha.
opportunity, create the opportunity to meet people all the time. Expose yourself, let them know what's going on so they can lead you in the right direction. When I ran into you, I've been in this space for a long time. Yes, what I do allows me to be in contact with certain group of people, but sometimes you have to make a shift from that group of people. And when you make that shift, you keep an open mind, you're going to learn something new, just like I've learned through you a lot of stuff that's out there. I was looking at it, I was here, and I was looking at it from over there. But I should come down and look at it from the ground level. Then later on, I could go up and have a bird's eye view. But right now, I'm right here. I gotta see what's around me, couple of meters away, right? Then later
Yeah.
on, I can go up and see what's you know down here from over there. So the mindset is very important. When you feel like you know everything, you're gonna have issues, and that mindset allows you to look for similarities as opposed to differences. The same mindset allows you to go, not follow the crowd, to be able to be courageous and brave enough to put into practice what you're learning without even thinking about it. That's mastership. You master your art. So when you learn with the God-given skill set that you have, when you learn these things and expose yourself to new, have a regimen of the things that you're interested in, because what's going to make you money is what you're interested in, no matter what. What's going to make you money is what you like doing. When you do it long enough, you get really good at it. When you get good at it, you become a practitioner in it. So that's where the practice part comes in. So I
Yeah.
chose my niche. They say the riches are in the niches. I chose my niche. I know there's a fundamental problem working in the cybersecurity field from a foot soldier to the architect level, senior manager position. I knew the problem is here. They're not, the recon is the problem. We're not protecting the same information that's used against us. I stayed on it, even though nobody hears about it, no, nobody want to make changes about it. I stayed on it. And today, you see the big challenge that we have. Change Healthcare went down the other day. They have to pay millions of dollars in ransomware, in
Yeah.
ransom to be able to operate. And today we have ChatGPT. One of the main problems that they have is privacy and all of that. And now, with the right support from our community, people that are well placed in a position, if we bring out the Cyberlockx browser, it will be a thing. But we really have to move fast to get it done.
Yes, yeah, you got to continuously innovate and learn these best practices to move forward. I show this chart quite often because it's just each founder has to learn the phases that and the milestones that you have to reach, and so that's kind of gives you an idea here. And the main point is you start back at -2, but you don't form your business, and you don't get out there and launch it until like 1 or 2. So there's a lot of work that goes on in the background. But understanding these phases and these milestones that you have to reach, it makes the journey a lot more understandable. So we like that chart from Startup Commons. And then I show this one quite frequently. And I know people are probably tired of me showing this, but last week we were on, and one of the questions was asked, how do you recruit co-founders? How do you recruit people? And the purpose of this foundations and this business model design is to learn how to pitch your idea clearly and concisely, and how you make money with your idea. And so that's what allows you to recruit the people on your team so you can actually build what you want to build. But if you try to skip that step and don't stress test that business model and make sure it's viable and feasible and desirable, you're making a big mistake. And so there's a lot of information in this chart. So just don't assume you understand it. But the idea is you need help to build something that you're going to try to build. And the only way you're going to get the help you need to build it is you got to be able to pitch how you make money with that idea clearly and concisely. And so I can't hop on that enough. And the next one is this startup science. And so this is another way to look at your journey as a founder. You're going to have an idea or vision for a product. You're going to build that product. You're going to go to market with that product. You're going to standardize all your operations for your business. You're going to optimize out operations, and then that's what's going to allow you to grow and get at a point where you can have an exit. And so this is just the path you go to. But if you try to skip these things, you're in trouble. Yeah. So that's just another way to look at your journey. What was your journey on all your products and services that clear?
So I wouldn't say it's as clear as what you're showing, but I can say that we did what we could do with the little resources that we have. In LokDon is what we've done in LokDon will cost a regular organization $10 million US. We did with 1.2 million. You can check that and see the difference there. We were able to have something you can use. We have bundle that's in the cloud, just like any other organization. You can go and spin up an EC2 and you use what we have. You use it to secure your environment. No problem with that. You can build secure APIs with it. We have protocols that you need to build an API that no one can hack into. These are simple things that we have done. But we hope to do better. We don't believe that we know everything. And that's why we keep moving forward. We want to build an ecosystem with like-minded people. We also are visionary. We recognize that if you are in the space of deep tech, you have to have what I call a tripod system in operation. You have to have people that you can train so they could be a pipeline for your employees. You have to have organization that deal with finished products. You have to have another organization that builds the engine. So when you look at Google, what Google are today, they didn't start at once. But the future companies that will compete on that level have to start at once.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you come up with a new idea, Google don't have people that know that new idea. Is you. Are you competing about with a giant? So what you have to
Yeah.
do, we have to train new mindset because we're trying to solve a problem that's already there while Google is still here. You're trying to solve that problem. To solve that problem, you have to be a new mindset that's to solve that problem. That's why we created Each One Teach One Tech, which is an apprenticeship program that has a lot of STEM programs aligned with it. And we're willing to teach a group of people in the underserved communities uh, how to become a security analyst, starting from a blue team perspective, SOC level 1, level 2. So we're showing them the differences in some of the protocols that's available. Like when you show somebody about a hash algorithm, you let them know that the hash algorithm is a one-way function, and then the encryption algorithm is a two-way function. You can encrypt and decrypt. But also you want to show them that in the hash algorithm, there's a weakness in it, in MD5, SHA-1, and that's why they are using rainbow tables. They are using rainbow tables because there are hashes that are commonly used for commonly used passwords. So the attackers know them, they compile them. So when you get those hashes, you take them to rainbow table, and then you get the real password because
Okay.
they already know how it works. But in LokDon, when you go to LokDon, LokDon tells you this password that you see here, each time we encrypt it, it's not going to look the same. So if this password is not going to look the same, why do I need a hash algorithm for it? I'll answer that question. You will only need a hash algorithm for it if you want to do checksum. That's it. But if you want to tell me that I want to use a hash algorithm to keep it secure, then you are wrong. The password is already changing all the time. While the hacker has grabbed one password trying to encrypt it, it's already changed again in the database or in the SAM file or whatever is put in the shadow file or anything like that. So that's a new way of looking at the same technology, but somebody innovated and said, we can't be doing this no more. This is dangerous for the future that we want. And we also decided that we're no longer going to keep keys, store keys, reuse keys, and manage keys. That means you don't need to hire an administrator that watches over the HSM, which is the hardware security module that banks use. They're going to save money. They're going to save money in building our public key infrastructure, key stores, and all of that.
Yeah.
It's no longer
so,
needed.
Yeah. And so that's the big challenge with innovation too, is that the people who are out there making, companies who are out there making money, they don't want you to come and disrupt what they're doing. So you're going to get a little pushback, but the way, it's just you just have to learn how to stay in the game and partner with the right people to keep moving forward. So like we're hearing, your accomplishments with your innovations and stuff like that. But let's just kind of back up a little bit and kind of see what led you to all this stuff and figuring out all this stuff. And so like when you were middle school, high school, or whatever, what were you thinking about being an engineer, a software engineer, or a cryptologist or whatever you might be called.
Actually, you'll be shocked to know that I already knew what I would become when I was 5 years old, even 4 years old. I knew I would become. I knew already I would become a computer engineer. To prove that point, while I was back home, and we didn't have a physics teacher at the time, we didn't have a calculus teacher. I knew I need those. I was about 10, 11 years old. I already knew I need that. So I took the book. I studied the physics.
Okay.
Nelson and Lambert. I think it's called Nelcon physics textbook. You can Google it and find it. Where I came from Nigeria. So anybody that's listening that's from that region will know the Nelcon book. That's a British physics book that was given to us to use to learn physics. It wasn't in our native tongue. It was not written in our native tongue. So we read it in English and studied physics in English. And I also knew I needed calculus. They call it further math where I came from. Like, it's a British system. They call it further math. So I studied that. I still remember the first principle. Divide the x and all of that in my head. X squared, divide the x, 2x. I remember all of that. So just to let you know, it's been a long time coming.
Gotcha.
This is something I knew. I knew I would make a change in humanity with technology. I knew that already. It doesn't matter how long it takes. That change must be done.
Gotcha.
And I knew that. So growing up, I was very studious. I like to know how things work. Because I like to know how things work, I'll frequent the library all the time. It was myself and my childhood friend, who's a doctor in Europe, Czech Republic. We still talk to you today. We are very close. We read almost all the book in the library.
Yes.
We read almost all the book in the library. We learned how to do make magnet, bring out the electricity. We're so curious kids. We learned how to do a bunch of stuff. We built a boat. We built a boat that was running in the water. Back then. We devised the propeller from a radio model. We got the model from a radio that was, a bad radio that's in the dumpster. We took it and we modified it. We used the gasoline to melt the foam. In styrofoam, we took gasoline to melt styrofoam, and we used cardboard to build the boat. And we used the solvent from the gasoline and the styrofoam to patch around the boat so it can go in the water without sinking. And then we put the motor at the end and created a groove underneath. This is kids building this stuff. We created a groove back there, and then we took the motor and brought it out and formed the propeller from the plastic. And then bent the propeller in such a way that it will move water forward. And then we put the batteries in and we controlled it with a switch. We just turn the switch. With the rudder, it goes straight. We turn it around, it goes this way. The whole street was looking at it. So we knew what we were going to become.
Yes.
At a very early age. So we were looking for opportunities, and I ended up here, and I carried in the same tradition. I never follow the crowd. I know what I want. You can't sell nothing to me. Gotcha. I tell everybody, you can't sell nothing to me. I buy what I want to buy. So if you have a good product, it could be the best thing ever, but I don't need it. I won't buy. When I need it, I go buy. So these are the skill set we have to learn, the high discipline. We have to learn this discipline to know what we want. And when I see a weakness in a system, I don't criticize the system. I look for a way to fix it, because I know if I fix it, that's an opportunity for humanity. That's an opportunity for someone else, for me, for my family. We can use that to leverage and get where we need to be. So for me, growing up, I've always valued STEM.
Gotcha.
I always valued STEM. I started mathematics to the partial differential even when I don't need it. I needed it to expand my mindset. So I like to study all those kind of stuff that expand my mindset. I got into cryptography because I was reading a book called, it's a book by Carl Sagan. I read the book. I heard they talk about encryption. That was 2021 or something. No, not 2021. 2001.
Okay.
That's when I read that book. They talk about encryption. I don't know what encryption is, but guess what? whatever they said he was doing, I liked it. It was hiding information. It was hiding information. I love it. I was like, really? In the computer, you can hide information? That's how it started.
Okay.
I started studying AES. I studied AES so much that I came up with a system that you can use to mimic AES.
Okay.
And what's that system? I play a lot of chess.
Okay.
I saw how the knight moves,
Mm-hmm.
and I started thinking in my head, what if the letters are moving like the knights? Is it possible that the letters could be we can use we can hide things on the square? Say if the computers are like a squares, 8 by 8, 8 by 8
Yeah.
dimension, and all these little squares are holding letters or numbers or whatever. Let's just say letters, because letters are the component of the spoken language and written language. So that's how I dealt with the problem. I dealt with the problem from a zeros and one perspective, binary.
Yeah.
In the case of a letter, it will be a bunch of zeros and ones that's making up the letter itself. Because A itself could be about 8 bits, and a word is 8 bits. A
Mm-hmm.
word is 8 bits, and in English, A is a word, and I is a word. So
Mm-hmm.
I came from that perspective because I think that if we go on this perspective, we can solve the problem. So once I figured out that there are other people before me, and then a guy named Schwarzschild, there's something called Hamiltonian path, Hamiltonian cycle. There's a guy named Schwarzschild that said that a knight can move across any given size of chessboard as long as the rows and columns are greater equal to 4.
Wow.
I was like, oh, there are people thinking like this. I was like, okay, that's the beginning. So from there, I created a matrix size that is equal to the current day AES, and I started playing with it. I used the knight move to crisscross all the squares in one sharp, what I call, you have to go just one, no backtracking, no backtracking. You have to go one swoop, boom, 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 boom. You have to start from a position and end in another position. I was able to achieve that in a record time. I could do it in my mind even today. I can move by number. So I created a puzzle using that. So you see me doing that in a coffee shop on a in a paper towel and all of that. So that's how I developed the skills to know that this is possible. I
Right.
started developing that, and I do the 32, which is the state of the art AES. Then I started doing 64, 128, and now I have 1616, which I use to build all this technology. I'm using a very high bits of encryption, which is over 2048 bits. Because I iterate the encryption, it's impossible to get into it. It's quantum resistant because it changes
Gotcha.
all the time.
Gotcha.
So it has a transformation system that allows it to feed in noise into the system all the time, so that you don't have anything like interference happening. So it will go through the Harman transformation, just like
Yeah.
quantum physics. You have something going into superposition because they went into a Harman transformation. It becomes a constructive interference, wherein two digits go in, or two
Yeah.
qubits go in and they come out being the same. That's the danger
Yeah.
of quantum computers.
Yeah. So I think you got a really good foundation there for innovation. Let's see what Tony's talking about here. So he's saying, how does LokDon work on a membership site, like a social media website, or uh, and what are differences from application passwords?
So in a social media website where you have a password system, username and password, the advantage that we bring is the password that the people type in is gonna be encrypted on the once they submit it. It's gonna be encrypted whether you have a TLS or not. As long as the site is authenticated with a certificate that is owned by this particular domain or whoever that's behind it, you have a certificate. Under the certificate, the certificate signature, digital signatures are saying this is the person that owns it. Is the valid? If the lock is there, you can encrypt with our system without TLS. That's reducing the steps required for encryption. Not only that, what you're sending over the wires consistently changes all the time. So if you go to, for instance, if you go to our website, each one tech, you can play with it and see what it does there. And if you go to like a regular website, you can see for yourself what happens there, how it works. So the steps, we remove the steps that is needed there, make it simpler. And at the same time, there's no place this key is stored. We don't reuse anything, because if you can't find a key, you can't reuse nothing. So everything is like stars in the sky. You see the array every night, the next night is changing, the next night is changing. That's where we draw our understanding of this technology from. So in his website, if he wants to use it, it brings a lot of advantage to him. No one can scrape his website and get any information. That's another thing, because we'll help him encrypt cookies. If you encrypt your cookies, all the cookie-based attack will no longer affect you, like cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, SQL injection. All of that will no longer affect you because you have this thing on your website that encrypts the front end and encrypts the back end at the same time. And you can apply policies that allows you to do certain things that you want to do based on the business that you run. So this is the advantage that we bring.
Gotcha. All right. And so you posted this link so they can watch the demo?
Yes, they can go to that link and play and see how the encryption works. And for those of them that are advanced users, you can go to developer tools. You go to more tools, then you go to developer tools and check the network, and then submit the form that we have there and check the form on the payload of the form. Then you can see what was encrypted. That way you'll be convinced, yeah, what I'm saying is what it's doing.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So like you and I were talking and you were saying the other product is the browser. Is that the Cyberlockx? Is that the browser thing?
Cyberlockx is, like I said, the mindset is everything. When you're thinking about making money with a God-given gift, it's different from when you're thinking of making money where it helps your people that look like you, people that have the same background like you and the rest of the world. These are two different things. Like some people want to think, I want to go make money real quick and become a millionaire and rich. And after that, what you going to do with the money? When you die, where's the money going to go? You think carefully about this. There's this two difference between someone who wants to use God-given gift to uplift, meaning they want to use what they're making to help other people to be like them, so that the people that are in bondage will leverage because they now have become relevant. To do that,
Yes.
it takes a mindset far beyond what is normal in the world of mankind.
Yes.
It takes a mind far beyond someone to say, you know what, I'm going to do this because I know we have a problem. Since
Yes.
nobody is trying to do it, let me be the sacrificial lamb that will put this off. That way, my group of people will start being relevant. So Cyberlockx is what's going to make us really relevant, because there's a lot of our people highly intelligent and excellent in what they're doing, but we have failed to collaborate. I want to make sure that we collaborated in Cyberlockx, because that would put us where we need to be. Therefore, if there's anyone listening right now, Cyberlockx is open to people with resources that want to be a part of the program, so we can get in partnership with the right people, because this is one of a kind browser that will take us to the future that we want to go to with AI, metaverse, blockchain, and all of that. We don't get enough in these spaces, but with this browser, we could become the space itself. I'm besieging anyone that's listening here to consider this as a plea. There's a need for collaboration. This is not something one person can make possible because of the ramification and what is involved. It needs an army of intelligent individuals coming together to pull this off. There's enough reason to pull it off. One, It makes the use of AI responsible. It makes the use of AI inclusive. It makes it possible for privacy to exist in AI, and as well as make data security possible, wherein individuals that are used widely as a part of the business model that uses them without providing any incentive to them. It brings fairness to what is happening right now. It's not competing with anybody, rather, it is an alternative for those who need them. That's it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, like, I think it sounds like it definitely sounds like a movement, and so like we're as with the what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure every founder has the basic knowledge of designing and creating a business model and implementing that business model, and so and the way we're trying to do that is we're partnering and collaborating with other people that are uh, are trying to do the same thing so we can do it. So it sounds like in your case there is people are interested in being more secure, while they're out on the web and stuff, with and like with this browsing stuff you're talking about. And so I think it's a good idea where, all of us work together to empower each other to innovate.
Absolutely. There's also an opportunity to make money. So the
Yes.
browser is not just a movement. The browser creates an opportunity. Remember, it's an AI-driven feature array browser. That means you can have Zoom or something like Zoom collaboration to audio video in it. That comes with making money. You can put the pricing that is fitting for the whoever that's going to be using it. The browser is going to be B2B, B2C. There's going to be payment system on it. There's going to be ID system on it. There's going to be search engine on it. There's going to be translation done by AI for languages in Southeast Asia, languages in Africa, languages in India, languages in the Arab and Middle East, because all these languages have something in common. They're not like English. They are structured as VCV, vowel, consonant, vowel, or consonant, vowel, consonant. But English is not like that. English is bastardized, meaning it's from here, and there, and they got put together. But the structure is what we are following. It doesn't bring all our creativity, but because we are running on a different operating system naturally. So when we do this, imagine the creativity, how the world will change. There's over 2 billion people who do not speak English. Imagine having an AI that you are using right now as an English speaker, and they have it. Imagine what they could create. Imagine what opportunity is opened up even for us here in the US. That means over here in the US, the government don't have to hire people to translate these languages anymore. So you can go to court, you have a bot do the translation between you, the judge, and you.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about. So there's a need for us to understand the need. The need is high here. We have to create another class of LLM that will address these languages. It becomes a subclass for NLP, natural language processing. I have developed the algorithm, the architect on architectural level of all these languages. Is they are based on their root. There's something called vowel vowel suffix to root linking, vowel to suffix, like suffix,
Yeah.
vowel suffix, like suffix, either at the end, prefix is in the front. There's also the prefix and the suffix. So it's vowel, prefix, or suffix to root linking. There are root words in all these languages that are not English that never change. Like Latin word have it, Latin word have it, Greek word have it. Only English doesn't have that. Only English and other languages don't have that. But all the Latin-based languages, they have the root word. Those root words never change.
Gotcha, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
so we figured that out, building an LLM based on that. Of course, there's going to be inflection, dialect, intonation, phonetics, and accentuation. That will be gathered. Information will be gathered. People will be incentivized to give those information. That's going to happen on the browser. So we have a method to the madness. So there's going to be pay as you go for the browser use it because it's going to have utilities, and it's going to have the AI part of it. It's going to also have payment part of it. You see, so there's opportunity to make money here, but it has to be a collaboration. It can't be one person because it will be very difficult for one person to pull it off based
Yeah,
on the statistics and information that I've gathered so far.
fantastic. So yeah, so man, so I didn't realize you were such a visionary. And but I guess if you understand how things work, you can definitely innovate on them, and that's the I think one of the key messages you're bringing. So if there's any last minute questions, you can definitely feel free to ask them right now because we're wrapping up here. But I think so. What you're saying is you're open to collaborating, and you're on LinkedIn, and I didn't pull your LinkedIn thing down. So if you have it handy, you can put that out there so people can connect with you. And so you're definitely. I noticed I haven't ran into too many people that that have as many followers and connections as you do. So that's pretty amazing. So people are paying attention to what you're doing. So that's a good thing. And we'll do it.
Yes,
Anything.
a lot of people
Go ahead.
a lot of people are aware. I've been to meetings with a lot of people are aware of what I'm doing. I've been to those meetings, but this is what they are doing. They are waiting for Google to do it. I will give you guys something. I will give you guys
Okay.
a little nugget what I captured 8 years ago when I was building the application to demonstrate what I'm telling you guys. I built an application called LokDon and I tried to put it on Google. Google never accepted it. Do you know that last year I created another application using the same technology and put it on Google? They accepted it. And I was thinking, why did they accept it? So I went back and did a lot of research and I found out that Google were developing a keyless system. But I was talking about keyless system 20 years ago. And they wouldn't
Got
accept
it.
my app. But now they're working on keyless system. And that's why I'm besieging everyone to support this effort. It will help a lot of people in our shoes. I know people are good and content with their family, but what about Mr. Michael and his family, and Mr. Namdi and his family, and Mr. Rastafa and his family? These are a group of people that belong to the set of people that you come from. When they're not good, you're not good either because you are seeing with the same eyes. But if we find the right support and the right individuals who understand how to navigate the waters of deep tech technology, it will be much more easier and acceptable by the other groups. But if it's one person who might not have the clout or have the business acumen to move it, you are going to be judged based on a lot of stuff. But the judgment will be much easier when you have people that are proven in the field. I'm just one person. I could have a few more people. Then it becomes very authentic. So I've been in this space for a long time. When you check my LinkedIn profile, you see it there. I just posted my LinkedIn profile to you. I have consistently done the same thing for over 2 decades. And when you come to my LinkedIn profile, you see the kind of information that I push out. I make you think. I bring new ideas to thousands of people on a regular basis. So when I have a lot more people going through, hearing what I'm saying, but realizing the importance of it, I want to be a part of it. We are saying to you that we are open. We are open. We see people from Middle East, China, Japan, trying to work with us. But we have people that are already here. This is the main market that people want to get into. We want to hear from you. We want to work with you. This could be used in blockchain technology, AI, whatever you talk about it, it could be used there. But if we move fast and get into the browser, we become ahead of everybody else. because Google is not going to get into a new browser because of their business model. I don't have nothing against them, but that's the business model they chose. But disruption must come. Nobody can stop it. That's a part of nature.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
All righty. So we appreciate that insight, and it definitely got my mind thinking. We definitely appreciate you sharing a lot of insights, and we'll definitely help promote what you're doing, and also I will do one last question on my end. So that your cybersecurity training. So it didn't sound like you have that all containerized or anything where it can be deployed in other places or deployed on. So what's your approach to getting that out to so more people can take advantage of the training that you came up with?
So the training has a curriculum. If you want to do an apprenticeship extension to a different state, reach out to me.
Yeah.
That will allow
Okay.
us to go national. So if anybody wants to do the same apprenticeships in a different state, they can reach out to me. We can partner. The only thing is we have to provide the instructors, and they have to pay for the instructors, and then they have to pay for the software. But I don't care what they charge anybody over there. But the
Okay.
program, you have to align with the mission of the program, which states that it's for underserved communities.
Right. And so,
It
but
has
so like is the are you is the approach you're white labeling the training or the instance on AWS or is everybody leveraging your same infrastructure there, or are they buying their own infrastructure? What's your approach on doing that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, we don't want to white label the security operations center. So when you say the
Okay.
infrastructure, you're referring to security operations center, which contains network flow analyzers, SIM or security information and event management solutions, firewalls. It also include our Jira service management solutions. These are some of the stuff that we built in the environment. The infrastructure itself is on AWS. You can put it in Microsoft environment. It's up to you. However, in our case, we want everyone to use one infrastructure. We can
Okay.
make it redundant or multi-cloud, but we want everyone to use the same infrastructure to cut down costs and maintain the integrity of the
Gotcha.
program. We have
Yeah.
to control the curriculum as the one of the requirements through the DOL. However, there's two aspects to this program, which I want everyone here to really, really see what they can do to support. So there's a difficulty for good programs like this to get funding. It's not
Hmm.
because it's the wrong program, it's because it's a very good program that can change things, especially in the southeast of the United States. So we've had that challenge. What we did to circumvent the situation or overcome the challenge was to produce what we call Security Operations Center membership subscription.
Okay.
What that means is it is not a part of the apprenticeship program. It's a fractal of the apprenticeship program, which means you can take it for 6 months and you know what to do as a security analyst, level 1 and level 2, some part of level 2. But for 6 months, you pay $75, which has a discount right now of 33%. You pay $50, you come into the program. That is nothing really, because just using Jira is $25, as you can see. But we recognize the community we serve. So we did that way for a purpose. Until such time when we are well funded, we can do more. For now, that's what we're doing. That's one. You can come in from any job. It doesn't matter. You don't need to have a prior experience. But we have developed a path for you. Within that 6 months, you get 4 certifications. The first certification you're going to get is the ISC squared, which is a cybersecurity certification. That's the first one. Within the first 3 months, you got that. Within the first 3 months, you getting an AWS practitioner certifications. I am what you can consider as a sensei in the dojo. so I'm an expert in martial art. I know. I don't know if you guys are aware of the staff. I use the staff in a way you could never imagine. Let's just put it that way. And I have a combatant move that I developed myself. So I'm very original in everything that I do because I believe we're all the same people. You can learn and do whatever and improve in anything. So when you take a program, there are a few things you're going to learn that you can't learn anywhere else. It's on the job. You're doing the same thing you would do at work because we knew our group of people don't have enough money and they might not get the job that will expose them to learning these things. So I decided to be the security operations center for them so they will know. Because managers are not trying to teach you anything because they don't have time for that. It costs them a lot of money to do interview to hire you. And then when they hire you, they're not going to hire a second person to train you. They don't have time for that. We move past that. So when you come in, they want to make sure that you don't know everything. But the one thing you should know is what you should be doing the first day at work. That's what we teach our learners. They know what they will do the first day at work. That's an advantage. Now, we have the third part of the program, which brings money to us, is called Managed Security Services. These are for small businesses. The statistics shows that small businesses go out of business within the first year just because of a security incident. 60% go out of business. Imagine having that in all these underserved hub zones and etc. That means they are going to be resilient. They have a robust practice. We see what's happening to them, to their website, to their servers before anything serious happens to cripple their business. So we provide these to underserved communities. At this time, it's for small businesses. Who knows in the future how it will be? So we are still in need of instructors. We're still in need of enough businesses to come in so we can manage their environment, and that will allow us to continue working with our learners and paying our learners. So we have a big challenge in keeping the door open because a lot of people are not aware of our program, and we're doing so much to make people aware. And one of the things we're doing today is our class, but I have to take off from that class. I let the learners know to be here because it's important for people to know this. We also have a ebook on the way, which we have a limited hard copy. It's a very interesting ebook that you want to read. I don't think anybody have written a cybersecurity book this way. So the book is written from a perspective of a martial artist, and marrying that together with cybersecurity, it will show you the journey of a cybersecurity. We call it the journey of a formidable cybersecurity disciple. So the journey is very interesting. Going from a novice is intertwined with ups and downs, many obstacles to being proficient. To do that, you got to identify a dojo. That's what each one teach one tech is. In the dojo, you find someone like me. I'm a sensei. I show you the path. I show you the rope. These are the certificate that you're gonna take. You take IC squared. You do that in 3 months with AWS Cloud Practitioner. Within a year, you do the next one, which is Security Plus, and the final one that you do is Cybersecurity Analyst by CompTIA. Once you do that, you're good to go. You will be in the groove. Plus, the training we give you within that 6 months, you see the attack surfaces yourself. You see the same. You respond to tickets. You follow the template of monitoring and the incident response guideline. NIST, you see the NIST special publication 861 R2 revision 2. You see the special publication 181 revision 1, which is the cybersecurity framework for the workforce. So there's a lot of money pushed into cybersecurity, but we're not getting them. Why are we not getting them? We need to work together. Currently, there's a grant that's available right now. And guess what was identified as the key talking point? Cybersecurity. It's a workforce grant. But we need to work together. The time of working separate and apart is gone. It's gone. Together, we can get where we need to be. And everyone knows that now.
All righty, fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast. We went a little longer just so we could kind of capture this stuff for folks, and we'll put the clip out there on your approach to doing this cyber apprenticeship program to move forward. So everyone, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for hanging in with us, and make sure you connect with Josiah and leverage what he's doing to kind of move all of our communities forward across the country. Hold on just for a minute, Josiah, and I'll go ahead and end the broadcast there. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll see you all
Bye, everyone.
next week.